Okay, let me paint a picture and tell me if this sounds familiar. You finally decide to get your life together financially. You stop eating out as much. You cancel subscriptions. You start tracking every rupee, every dollar, every tiny expense. You feel responsible, disciplined, adult. Your savings account slowly grows. $500, then $1,000, then maybe $5,000. And yet, somehow, your life doesn't actually feel more secure. You're still stressed about money. You're still worried about the future. And deep down, you feel like no matter how much you save, you're not actually getting ahead. And here's the uncomfortable part. What if the very thing you've been told is the smartest financial move your entire life is secretly the reason you're staying stuck? My name is Nico, and I spend way too much time thinking about how people accidentally sabotage their finances while trying to do the right thing. If you're someone who works hard, saves money, tries to be responsible, but still feels like wealth keeps moving further away, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Now look, before anyone gets angry in the comments, I'm not saying saving money is bad. Saving is important. But here's the thing. Saving money and building wealth are not the same activity. And most people never learn the difference. We grow up hearing one financial rule repeated over and over. Save money, save money, save money. Parents say it, schools say it, financial advice online says it. So naturally, we assume the path to wealth is simple. Earn money, spend less, and stack cash. Sounds logical. Except mathematically, psychologically, and economically, that strategy has a hidden flaw. Here's what most people don't realize. Saving money is defensive. Wealth building is offensive. And if your entire financial strategy is defense, you can survive, but you rarely win. Let me explain. Imagine two people. Person A saves $500 every month and keeps it in a savings account earning about 2% interest. After 10 years, they've saved $60,000 plus a little interest. That feels impressive, right? Now, person B also sets aside $500 per month, but instead of letting it sit, they invest it into assets earning an average of 8% annually. After the same 10 years, they don't have $60,000, they have roughly $91,000. Same effort, same discipline, completely different outcome. This is where it gets interesting. The difference wasn't how hard they worked. It wasn't intelligence. It was understanding that money grows differently depending on where it lives. Saving preserves money. Investing multiplies money. And inflation quietly punishes people who confuse the two. Now here's a statistic that surprises a lot of people. Over the past several decades, average inflation has hovered around 3% annually in many economies. That means if your money earns less than inflation, you're not actually saving wealth, you're slowly losing purchasing power every single year. So if your savings account earns 2%, while inflation is 3%, your money is effectively shrinking. You feel safer because the number in your account goes up, but in reality, your future buying power goes down. And psychologically, that's incredibly deceptive. Because humans love certainty, we like seeing guaranteed numbers, stable balances, no risk. Our brains interpret stability as safety, but financially, stability without growth becomes stagnation. Now you might be thinking, okay, but saving is responsible. Investing sounds risky, and you're right. Emotionally, it feels risky. But here's the twist. Not investing is also a risk. It's just a slow, invisible one. See, most people imagine financial danger as losing money quickly, market crashes, bad investments, big mistakes. But the real danger for most middle-income earners isn't dramatic loss, it's gradual erosion. Your expenses rise faster than your income. Housing gets more expensive. Healthcare costs increase. Education costs climb. Meanwhile, your savings quietly sit still, and over time, the gap between what your money can do and what life costs keeps widening. Here's where psychology plays a huge role. Saving money gives you a feeling of progress without requiring financial education. It feels productive. You're doing something responsible, but it also allows you to avoid learning harder concepts like investing, asset allocation, or risk management. Your brain says, I'm already being good with money. So growth never becomes a priority, and this creates what I call the saver's trap. You become excellent at minimizing life. Instead of expanding opportunity, you cut small pleasures, you delay experiences, you optimize tiny expenses. But income growth and asset growth, the things that actually change financial outcomes, stay untouched. Let me give you a real-world example. Someone spends years trying to save an extra $100 per month by cutting coffee, subscriptions, and small luxuries. That's $1,200 per year. Helpful? Sure. But increasing skills or negotiating a salary to earn even $200 more per month doubles that impact instantly without shrinking your lifestyle. And investing that difference compounds it even further. Here's what most people don't realize. Wealth is rarely built by extreme saving alone. It's built by owning things that grow: businesses, stocks, real estate, skills that increase earning power. Saving is the seed, but seeds only matter if you plant them. Now, this is where it gets interesting again. There's actually a psychological reason people oversave: loss aversion. Studies in behavioral economics show that humans feel the pain of losing money roughly twice as strongly as the pleasure of gaining it. So we naturally avoid situations where outcomes are uncertain, even if the long-term reward is much larger. Your brain prefers a guaranteed small win over a probable large win, which explains why someone will happily keep $20,000 in cash earning almost nothing, while feeling terrified to invest gradually into diversified assets over decades. Emotionally safe, financially inefficient. And here's the ironic part: the wealthy often don't focus primarily on saving, they focus on acquiring assets. They ask different questions. Instead of, how can I spend less, they ask, how can my money work without me? That shift changes everything, because once money starts generating money, effort scales differently. You're no longer trading only time for income. You're building systems that grow while you sleep. Now, I want to be clear: saving still matters, just not in the way most people think. Saving should serve three purposes. First, emergency stability, enough cash to handle unexpected life events without panic. Second, short-term goals, things you'll need within a few years. And third, opportunity, because cash isn't just protection, it's optionality. When opportunities appear, investments, business ideas, market downturns, savings give you the ability to act. But long-term wealth, that comes from deployment, not storage. Think of money like water. If water flows, it generates energy. If water sits still too long, it stagnates. Money works the same way. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I don't have enough money to invest. And honestly, that belief keeps more people stuck than almost anything else, because investing isn't about large amounts, it's about consistency and time. Someone investing $200 monthly for 30 years at average market returns can end up with hundreds of thousands, sometimes more, largely because of compounding. Compounding is basically time doing work you didn't personally have to do. And the earlier it starts, the less effort required later. This is why two people with similar incomes can end up in completely different financial realities. One saves endlessly but never deploys capital. The other saves strategically and invests consistently. Same discipline, different philosophy, massively different results. So what should you actually do? Start by redefining saving. Saving is not the finish line. It's the waiting room. Build an emergency fund so stress stops controlling your decisions. Then begin learning, slowly, how assets work. Automate investments so emotions don't interfere. Focus on increasing income alongside reducing waste. And most importantly, stop measuring financial progress by how much cash you've accumulated. Measure it by how much income your assets can produce. Because financial freedom isn't about having a pile of money you're afraid to touch. It's about having systems that continuously replenish it. Here's the thing: saving money can make you feel secure today, but investing and growing money creates security tomorrow. And once you understand that difference, your entire relationship with money changes. You stop playing defense forever. You start building momentum. You stop asking, how long can I survive? And start asking, how far can this grow? Because the goal was never just to save money. The goal was to build a life where money stops being the main source of stress. And ironically, that usually begins the moment you stop treating saving as the ultimate strategy and start treating it as the first step towards something bigger. And if this made you rethink how you look at money even a little bit, then you're already ahead of where most people stay for years. And if this video changed the way you think about saving and investing, do me a quick favor. Hit the like button so YouTube knows this is the kind of content worth showing to more people who are trying to fix their financial future. Subscribe for more simple money lessons and comment below. Are you saving or investing right now? I'll see you in the next one.